Hello students, now we will discuss about ozone depletion in stratosphere. Before going into in-depth of this subtopic, we will see what is meant by ozone layer. Ozone layer is a combination of oxygen atoms in the stratosphere. Means 3 number of oxygen atoms forms into one molecule and they are present at a distance of 50 to 40 kilometers from the earth surface, or we can say it is 10 to 25 miles from the earth surface. These are very important to stop the direct falling of UV radiations or infrared radiations from the solar region onto the earth surface where biosphere is residing. So ozone, we write like this is a combination of 3 oxygen atoms. Now before going into this formation, we'll see the layers on the earth surface. So if this is the earth, first one will be troposphere. Next is stratosphere. Next is mesosphere. Next is thermosphere. Next is exosphere. Troposphere is the layer where aeroplanes move. Stratosphere is the layer where ozone layer is formed. So the next one, so exosphere is the layer where satellites are moved. So these are considered as atmospheric layers. Next, from sun. The UV rays are being emitted. Ultraviolet rays and infrared rays are emitted. Out of ultraviolet rays, we commonly write as UV rays. These UV rays are of 3 types basing on the wavelength. First one is UV type of A rays. These exhibit a wavelength of 315 to 400 nanometers. 315 to 400 nanometers of wavelength. We write in the form of lambda. Second one, UVB type of rays. These have a wavelength of 280 to 315 nanometers of wavelength. Third type of UV rays are UV rays C. These have a wavelength of 100 to 280 nanometers of wavelength. Now, out of these 3, this UV rays B type of radiations are harmful for living organisms on Earth. So, UVB rays are more harmful for Earth's atmosphere, that is biosphere. Earth's, for living organisms will write. Next, UV rays B are highly absorbed by Earth's atmosphere. This UV rays B, when they are absorbed by the living organisms in the biosphere, They are easily attracted by the DNA molecules and the proteins of the living organisms. And these DNA molecules, these are nothing but the biomolecules. These will be splitted. The bonds will be broken down, and it leads to mutations or cancer-like of stages. So, they damage DNA and protein type of biomolecules. Next, this UV rays B type they also causes aging of skin and damaging of skin cells and causes various skin cancers. Not only the skin, the cornea of human eye absorbs, means it is highly prone to absorption of UV rays. So that what happens, the cornea will be, means it causes a special type of inflammation like nature, and the cornea will be highly affected, and it leads to the formation of snow blindness or cataract formation. Another symptom by absorbing UVB type of rays. Human cornea absorbs UV rays, UVB type of rays. And high dose of it causes inflammation to cornea and leads to snow blindness, cataract formation, etc. So if these two types of snow blindness or cataract formation, if these both are not treated, it will lead to permanent loss of vision. If not treated, then there will be permanent loss of vision. So this is about UV radiations. Now we will see how ozone layer is formed in stratosphere and later how it is getting depleted or decreased its size. So first, in stratosphere, by continuous exposure of UV rays or ultraviolet rays, the molecular oxygen which we represent as O2 is broken or separated into oxygen plus oxygen atoms. Now, all the molecular oxygens are not broken. Only the places where these UV rays are exposed, only that places of few molecular oxygen, when they are continuously focused by UV rays, are broken. Now, each of the oxygen atom again binds to nearby O2 molecule, molecular oxygen. So that what happens? Oxygen plus O2, that is equal to ozone molecule is formed. This is how ozone molecules are formed. Now, this is formation of ozone, which we are telling as ozone molecule. This ozone molecule is of 3 to 5 millimeters in width or in thickness. Ozone layer is of 15 to 25 miles from Earth's surface. So this ozone layer is stopping the direct falling or exposure of UV rays onto the Earth's surface where biosphere is existed. So ozone layer is stopping a direct exposure of UV rays onto biosphere. So we can consider this stratospheric ozone layer is good ozone layer. But because of human activities, this good ozone layer is getting depleted or decreased in its thickness. This is because some of the gases that are emitted from human utilizing households like refrigerators, etc., which are releasing chlorofluorocarbons. These UV rays, when they are exposed to chlorofluorocarbons, they will break these aerosols like chlorofluorocarbons into chloride atoms. These chloride or chlorine atoms, they are responsible for breaking off this ozone layer back into molecular oxygen and separating the oxygen atom, so that the thickness will be decreased. Complete ozone layer is not getting damaged, but the thickness is being decreased. When thickness is decreased, we use a term like ozone hole. But due to human activities, the aerosols released are moved into stratosphere. What are these aerosols? We can say these can be chlorofluorocarbons. So in the stratosphere, what is happening? UV rays plus chlorofluorocarbons. When these both are mixed up, then UV rays will break these chlorofluorocarbons and chlorine atoms are released. UV rays break these chlorofluorocarbons and chlorine atoms are released. We indicate these chlorine atoms as Cl. Now, these chlorine atoms, they break O3, ozone molecule, into molecular oxygen and oxygen atom again. So this depletion of ozone molecule or ozone layer, it is particularly marked in Antarctic region. So this depletion, ozone depletion, led to formation of forms ozone hole. Ozone hole. It is not black hole, it is ozone hole. In 1987, in Canada, 197 countries, they took a step, or they signed an agreement to finalize the protection of stratospheric ozone layer. Signed an agreement to protect stratospheric ozone layer from damaging of the means the substances that are responsible for ozone depletion. This agreement is called Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol. If a bit was asked from this, in which country this Montreal Protocol took place? It took place or it was signed in Canada. How many countries involved? 197 countries involved in Montreal Protocol. Next, in which year it took place? In 1987, agreement was signed. What is meant by Montreal Protocol? It is one of the step or the agreement that is signed by nearly 197 countries to protect the stratospheric ozone layer. That is called as Montreal Protocol. So this is about stratospheric ozone layer depletion.